So the three trends I want to talk about are resistance to increasing cybersecurity investment, normalization, and evolution. What do I mean by resistance? What I mean is that we've learned that you can't prevent or avoid a ransomware attack just by increasing your enterprise's cybersecurity investment, even to the point where your CFO may feel is infinite. For lawyers, this means that you may have to help defend investment decisions that your company and your CIO want to make. It also means, of course, that continuing to evaluate and raise your cybersecurity level is important. Just don't be under any illusions that you can spend your way out of the preparedness and response that we're going to have to talk about today. So the second point is that the legal environment we're looking at has, if you will, normalized ransomware. And by that, I mean that the insurers, the regulators, the customers, the public, everybody has kind of incorporated ransomware considerations into the standard of care and into the expectations of the level of behavior and achievement and competence that's expected of all of you, lawyers and non-lawyers. And I think obviously what that means is that if we fall short of that standard of care, no matter how unlikely or unpredictable or nasty a ransomware event is or how limited its consequences are, there may well be adverse legal, regulatory, and reputational consequences. And the experts on this panel are going to help you talk about how to identify and hopefully minimize those consequences. But just one example of normalization is increasing regulatory guidance on such things as, what do you do if you may have paid ransomware to an entity that's under OFAC sanctions? Should you report ransomware attacks to law enforcement? And then requirements for continuity of operations. Another example, which you're all super familiar with for normalization, are that insurance policies are increasingly detailed about ransomware and retention amounts and copays, and again, the behavior that's expected of you in order to keep that, even to get that policy written and keep it in force. So the good news, though, of this normalization is that you can incorporate, to some degree, preparation for ransomware into everything you're already doing for cybersecurity awareness. Your response planning, compliance, all the things we're going to talk about later. Finally, the third point I'd like to make here on trends is that the specifics will keep evolving, and the tactics, the malware, the threat actors, the relationships among the threat actors, and how they threaten to hurt you in the enterprise. Each of those evolutions will have legal consequences, but the point is that there's going to be evolution, and part of our preparation is being prepared for that evolution. The details really are less important than, what actually you're doing beforehand and then during the crisis.